Yo, yo, yo. I think it's 95, 96, and 97. Sorry I keep doing this, 3-day thing. It should be every day. Um, it's been all over the place. I feel like I use that phrase a lot. All over the place. But in a lot of cases, that is probably the best way to describe it. There we are. Yeah, in a lot of cases, that's probably the best way to describe it. I'm not gonna lie to you. Yeah. Today, this weekend, I took the weekend off. It was weird. I kind of spoke about it in. I wrote about it in my journal entry that I'm going to be uploading every week on my second account on Instagram. It's called Time Will Always Pass. Yeah, so I wrote about it there. But yeah, I took the weekend off. I was gonna record the vocals on Friday and Saturday. Didn't. Yeah, Friday, Saturday was my birthday, so Friday I was going to record. And then as soon as I loaded up Ableton, which is what I used to record my music, I just had a crazy headache of just fatigue, exhaustion. And yes, I probably could have fought through it, but I feel like with vocals, you can hear fatigue, you can hear exhaustion, you can hear kind of it's not, you could hear me half-assing it if I did do it. And especially when I'm recording vocals, I think that's the time where you need to be the most passionate about the song. That or the recording of the melodies. I feel like you need to be in a state of, you don't necessarily need to be in a state of full enjoyment or full passion, but you want to be in a position where you actually kind of want to do it. And not even that, you can still be in a position where you don't want to do it, but you still want to in a way. I don't know if that's the best way to describe it. That kind of discipline kind of thing. But in my sense, it was just straight exhaustion, straight fatigue that I was feeling. And I could just tell it wasn't going to be a productive session. I could have worked on it for 7 hours that day. But in my state of mind, I just knew it wasn't going to be a good day. So yeah, I took the weekend off because Saturday was my birthday, Sunday I was working, and now I'm off for 11 days. So now I'm kind of, in a sense, recharged and gonna record vocals tomorrow. So yeah, that's where I'm at. Yeah. There's nothing really in particular I kind of do want to talk about. I guess what I've noticed recently is that the more I document these things, the more I'm speaking, even now I'm going to be writing weekly about kind of anything. I don't really want these to cross over in terms of what I speak about, even though they're kind of very similar in some regards. But what was I going to say? What was I going to say? Oh, this is what I was going to say. The more, and I might write about this as well, because it will allow me to think about it more, but the more aware I'm becoming of, philosophical ideas and just kind of worldview ideas, whatever, the more I become aware of these things and the more I think about them and the more I kind of delve into these concepts and stuff like that, whatever, you would think that it would change my overarching thought, right? But the way I see it is like I kind of have two modes. And by that I mean, you know, the active thinking. What I'm doing now is kind of weaving in and out of thoughts and kind of articulating to you. But then there's kind of like the subconscious thoughts of, you know, you know what subconscious is. You know, you're walking down the street, you're already thinking, or you know, subconscious. And then you'd think, because I feel like when I'm in a subconscious train of thought, I get into this loop of dwelling over stuff, dwelling over things that have happened, that might happen. It's never like being present. And I think that's kind of what, like, the antithesis of subconscious thought is being present, right? I don't know if there is a sense of being present plus thinking subconsciously. I haven't experienced that, but maybe, I have no idea. But what I'm kind of trying to say is the subconscious loops that I have in my head are still the same before before I started to be more like mindful of like these things, thoughts, and how the world works, stuff like that. And obviously that's not necessarily going to correlate completely, but there is an overlap in terms of if you're kind of trying to understand your thoughts and trying to understand how the world works and the idea of being, the idea of existence, the idea of these things, you'd think it would kind of alter the way your brain navigates things. And that is true to an extent because obviously you are becoming more aware of these things. But I think they're kind of different in a sense. It's like, it's the best way to describe it, I guess. It's like watering a plant, right? And then, oh, no, I think this is the best way. It's like planting a tree and then studying how trees grow, right? One of them is like the actual foundation of how it works, and, you know, oh, no, here's another one. It's probably better. One of them is doing bicep curls, so building the muscle, the actual act of building the muscle. And the second one is studying about how the muscles work, right? So the first one is you actually doing the exercise of you growing the muscle, like the actual act of doing it. And the second one is you studying the process of it, right? And I feel like in my sense, I'm kind of more studying the process of it rather than actual doing the exercise, right? And it's weird because 5 years ago, or even like 3 years ago, it was the inverse. It was the complete inverse, because I would be meditating. I would meditate a lot, like 10-15 minutes before I go to bed, and I'd say in a lot of ways meditation kind of saved my life, because during sixth form I was a complete wreck. I was so anxious. I was so in my head about things. I couldn't leave the house. I feel like I've mentioned this before. Like, I was in a very bad place during that time, and one way for me to kind of control my emotions, control my mind, control my thoughts was the act of meditating, right? And I feel like now because I use the foundation of meditation on a daily basis, which is the idea of like, if your mind strays away, you kind of use like a word to bring it back to present, bring it back to kind of active mode, right? Say if there's like a negative thought, there's like a thought of, I don't know, you being nasty to yourself. You'll say a word, you note it down, you note it in your mind, and then you stop thinking about it. That's kind of like the main premise of mindfulness and meditation, like what I've learned, right? So to this day, even though I've really been slacking with meditation, I do it every day, right? Say if there's a negative thought, I note it, like I say the word thinking or I say the word focus, and it kind of snaps and I don't think about it anymore, right? So I've got that skill down, but I just haven't really continued it, right? So often with my subconscious thoughts or this loop I get, it dwells on things that have happened, it dwells on things that might happen that you're scared of. It's literally just straying away, anything that strays away from the present moment, right? And it's no good, because I am aware of the fact that, and I say this to myself, I'm aware of the fact that no matter whatever I think of that happened in the past won't change a thing, and all it's doing is all it's doing is negatively affecting the present moment that you're in, which and then will just compound to next year where I'm saying, oh, the past, whatever. So it's like I'm never in the present because I'll always have a negative view of the past, right? If that makes sense. So it's like I'm so emerged in the past that I don't even focus on the present, and then when I'm further down the line I'll be saying, oh, I didn't do this because I was too busy doing, and it's like a compound effect, right? So I'm aware of this, and I literally say to myself when I've noted it, like when I've kind of snapped back into the present, but it's still that that continuous, that persistent loop of thinking about the past and thinking about, and it's not, like I said, it's not just the past, it's also about the uncertainty of the future. And I know that's not right to do. And obviously you can think about the past, it's not a bad thing to do. You can think about the future, again, it's not a bad thing to do, but it's more, the word I think the best way to describe it is dwell. Dwelling is when you latch onto these scenarios that have happened, you latch onto these things that have happened, you latch onto these experiences that have happened, and then it's like you're kind of just like submerged. It's like you're in like a fishing net and you can't get out. You're just trapped. You're completely just trapped. And your mind it's just in a loop. It's in this loop, and then it replays that, and then it replays that, and it's just continuous. And then you have to kind of snap out of it. It's like you're in a trance. That's the problem, because there's a difference between me just saying, oh, remember when I had those football boots, or oh, remember when we used to say that joke all the time in class. Yeah, that's fine, but it's more like you're dwelling on these experiences, and you're dwelling on these things where it's like, oh, I wish I could change that, or I wish this didn't happen, or why did I do that? Why did I say that? It's more you contemplating on the fact of what you did and what you did do, and it's more the fact of oh, I wish I could change it. I wish I could do that. I wish I could, oh, why did I do that? It's the kind of the thought of, the thought of altering it, the thought of you making that mistake, the thought of you being in the wish you could just change it. And it's like, I could think about it. I could think about that, right, for the rest of my life, right? From now until whenever I die, I could think about it. Nothing changes. Nothing changes. No matter if I think about it for a second, if I dwell in it for 10 years, nothing changes, right? So what is the point of dwelling? And I feel like I'm like, because yeah, it's so weird. It's so weird why we do this. Because you thinking about doesn't grant you some crazy ability where it's like, oh, oh, that, oh, the scenario changed. No, no, nothing happened. So what's the point? It's just, and it's just so like, yeah, it's just so exhausting. And it's just interesting. It's just interesting. But yeah, I don't know. A lot of it down to me is the fact that, I mean, it's what I was referring to before, the fact that I had a really bad time in year 13 with the anxiety and with these things and being nervous to leave the house, and that's kind of where it stems from for me. It's more like, why did this happen? What, you know, oh, I wish that didn't happen and stuff like that. Like that's like the kind of main thing, because it kind of stemmed onto everything else, right? The fact that I didn't really go to school in year 13 also contributed to the fact that I didn't want to leave the house for university. Like I didn't want to go to a different university, as in I stayed in London and stayed at home. So then my mind spirals into the thinking of, oh, you missed out on university and you didn't have this experience of moving out and like meeting new people because you didn't want to leave the house. And it's like, what? And then it just spirals out of control into the fact of like, oh, you've missed out on the kind of the so-called like golden years. And it's like, even if I did, doesn't I can't do anything about it. And probably what happened to me, all the anxiety and everything that happened to me, it probably made me who I am today, in terms of that I was able to come out of it. And that probably contributes to me being able to, I've learned how to do it for myself with music. So like, I never really see the positive of things. It's more like the fact that, oh, I so-called missed out, or I so-called, oh, why did that happen to me? Why did this happen to me? Oh, you didn't live this life, you didn't live that life. But then I don't really kind of look at it from the other side and think, the reason why I worked so hard and the reason why I'm so disciplined is probably because of the hardships that I went through during that time. And that's why I pushed myself so much. And that's, the fact that I came out the other side, and the fact that who I am today is because of that person, because of the strength he showed. You know what I mean? So, yeah, it's interesting. But yeah, I'm trying to work on it. And that's all I can do. But yeah, I will see you tomorrow. I am recording vocals for the new song tomorrow. Recording vocals for someone. And yeah, that's where I'm at. So yeah, goodbye. Why did I do that? I think I got that from Ollie, because he did that. Alright.